Welcome to the 40 Crest Hotel Glasgow for another evening of international professional boxing presented by the St.Andrew Sporting Club under license to the British Boxing Board of Control and sponsored this evening by Vardy Continental. We commence the programme with an international welterweight contest made at 10 stone, 11 pounds, over 6 2-minute rounds. Presenting and introducing on my right and in the blue corner, will you welcome please from Cleland, a young man making his professional debut this evening, former Commonwealth Games bronze medalist, Joe Townsley. And on my left, gentleman, in the red corner, wearing the black trunks, also my very great pleasure to present and introduce from Wallsend, Hugh Davey.
Yeah, I can hear you, no problem.
At the weigh-in today, Townsley scaled 10 stone,
Okay.
11 pounds 4 ounces. Davey scaled 10 stone, 11 pounds. Your referee for this contest, Mr. John Coyle from Wolverhampton. Your timekeeper, Mr. Ricky Gilmore. Townsley, blue corner, Davey, red corner.
Seconds out, round one.
This marks the professional debut for the man in red. It's Cleland Joe Townsley, the 1994 bronze medalist from the Commonwealth Games in Victoria. And the management have picked a fairly seasoned campaigner, and it's quite a task, although this is only 6 2-minute rounds. In black, Hugh Davey from Gravesend is 29 years old. This is his 17th professional contest. He's won 10 of them, lost 5 and drawn 1. And it's asking a fair old bit of Joe Townsley, but if he's good enough, he'll certainly come through. What a great sequence he put together in Victoria last year, losing in the quarter-final to Bob Gazio from Western Samoa, who gave Northern Ireland's Jim Webb a particularly difficult task in the last sequence in Victoria. So Joe Townsley from Cleland in red, his first paid contest, and Hugh Davey from Gravesend. Midway through the first, 6-2 is the schedule for. Oh, what a good right hand that was by Davey, and Joe Townsley will have to start covering up, and he's got to hold on. He's got about 45 seconds or so, and it's going to be a great test of his resilience, and one hopes that he hasn't been overmatched in this opening professional contest against a much more experienced man, and if he comes through this first round, I think they'll speak to him in the corner about just keeping his guard up. But it was a good right hand, and full marks to Joe Townsley with just about 30 seconds left to the end of the first to have come back from that, because that was a good right hand from the big fella from Gravesend, Hugh Davey. Davey indeed normally boxes as a welterweight, but he's only a quarter of a pound lighter than Joe Townsley. So Townsley has survived, and that's a good response by Joe Townsley. Great body shots by the youngster. And that was a good finish by Townsley. And he did take a very hard shot right at the end, or in the middle of that first round, but he came back in splendid style. First thoughts from Gary Jacobs?
Yeah, a very good start. He's a wee bit apprehensive there when he first started off. Obviously being his first pro fight. He's keeping his guard high and a wee bit slow off the mark. Hugh Davey was firing in, nothing to lose.
And he had to come back well.
Oh yeah, here he goes. That was a good combination. That's probably what he needed, a wee bit of fire. He's taken a good right hand and come back from it very strongly, and he's come back with his own combination. He realises it's not all like jab and move. This is a professional fight game now. He's got to move on. 6 2-minute rounds. It's double what he's used to, so he now knows he's in a fight.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out, round 2.
The man in red, Joe Townsley, making his professional debut, took a very solid right hand in the first round, but may just have edged it. And he'd be glad that he's got one of the most experienced men in the business in the middle of the ring, John Coyle. Hugh Davey from Gravesend, a professional since March of 1992. Davey has never been stopped, and this really is a very good test for Joe Townsley. Townsley, a pretty decent puncher, and there's a lot of swelling underneath the left eye of Hugh Davey. Townsley, despite that hard right hand, looks relatively unmarked. Davey's greater experience allowing him to come inside, but there's a lot of redness about the face of Hugh Davey. The first professional fight is always the hardest because there's still a tendency to use some of the old amateur tactics. The hands are very often kept far too high.
There's one thing for sure here, Towns is not having to look for Davey, he's coming to fight and he's making a fight of it, so he's certainly going to be just standing toe-to-toe with the guy.
There's a cut on Davey's right eye, a little cut right at the corner of the eye, so Townsley has got to him. Davey was in action at the end of February, had a win over Dave Moore, his third inside the distance. Just about half a minute to the end of the second. They're scheduled for 6 2-minute rounds, and novices like Joe Townsley normally operate over 2-minute rounds rather than 3. Good test of the professional stamina this is going to be for Joe Townsley. And as Gary Jacobs quite rightly observed, they're not having to go looking for each other. Townsley covering up well. Davey trying to get the uppercut in, which also landed. That was a nice, short, crisp left hand from Hugh Davey. And Townsley finishes well. There's Hugh Davey, 29 years old now, and didn't start boxing until he was well into his 20s. And you can see the reddening of the face. Now, some of it may have been caused from the contest at the end of last month. Terry Conroy's working hard in the corner to try to stem the flow of blood from a little cut, a little nick on the side of Hugh Davey's right eye. A little bit of work from Hugh Davey in the middle of that second round. That was a good shot from Davey. And trying to work inside, and Townsley, well, maybe not the experience just to hold on, but that'll come. So he's breathing very heavily and very deeply.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 3.
The man in the black trunks, Hugh Davey from Gravesend, the 29-year-old, a little bit slow coming off his stool. And he certainly felt some of the power of the new man to professional boxing, Joe Townsley. Last August in Victoria, British Columbia, he stopped a man from the Cayman Islands, Ernest Barnes, in the second round, and had a win over a tough Ghanaian, Ishmael Ari, 12-9, and then lost 12-10, and a lot of people thought he may have got that against Bob Gazio, who went on to lose in the final. So Joe Townsley had to be content with a bronze medal, and a medal of a higher colour, I think, was there for the taking. But he survived quite well because he did take a very hard right hand, and that was the same one, but it wasn't landed with anything like the venom of the one in the first round. And Davey's work has got a little bit on the loose side. He's not just putting the punches together with the same rhythm.
Yeah, he seems to be, Davey's slowing up a little bit. He's still going forward but not throwing as many punches. Townsley's covering up well and standing his ground, not being forced back, which is a good pro debut for him. He's looking in good shape, and it's a testing fight for definitely your first pro fight.
Little clash of heads there, accidental. And occasionally Davey letting the left hand drop down, and that's allowing, Townsley letting the left hand drop down, that's allowing Davey to come across with the right. But he looks in great shape, Joe Townsley.
Yeah, fantastic. He just threw a great punch there. He threw a left-hand uppercut and then came back with a right, changed it all round, and he landed with 2 great shots.
Well, he's got about 20 variation. He's got about 20 seconds to go, and this man, Hugh Davey, in black, has never been stopped in his professional career. This is 17th paid contest, and if Hugh Townsley keeps this up, and he's cut Davey again. Davey's got a cut now above the left eye on the eyebrow, so the right and the left are both cut, And if Townsley keeps this up, this could be a very impressive professional debut. Back he goes to his corner. Donkey Giant in the corner there, and nothing much to worry about in terms of needing the skills of Donkey Giant. And he looks in terrific condition. Oh, good muscle tone there, and it was a very good round for Joe Townsley. And he certainly hasn't looked in this round like a man who's making his debut. That was a good right hand and a second one. And Hugh Davey, for the very first time in this contest, has to hold on. And a lot of people would have stepped back, but Townsley kept up the pressure and moved from the body to the head and back to the body again. A good spell by Townsley.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. Round 4.
Well, Joe Townsley has had 6 minutes of professional light middleweight boxing, and very successful they've been. Apart from that little spell in the first round where Hugh Davey threatened to swarm all over him, he's boxed sensibly and cleverly. And against a man of 16 professional contests, he's acquitted himself pretty well. Bit of swelling around the right eye of Townsley himself, but he hasn't cut. Those rather prominent eyebrows of Hugh Davey have opened up. But the corner's done a good job, and no sign of any wear and tear coming up to the middle of this, the fourth round. Going to be a great test of the stamina of Joe Townsley, just to see what professional condition he's in.
Oh yeah, it's all about mental attitude with this. The 6 2-minute rounds. I personally think the 2-minute rounds should be done away with. You have to start somewhere in professional boxing. I think maybe they should make it 3-minute rounds and maybe start with 4 3-minute rounds. It's the same amount of time, it's 12 minutes, same as 6-2s, but you're getting used to the 3-minute rounds, because that's what eventually he's going to have to move up to.
Joe Townsley moving up a gear. Hugh Davey going backward, a little bit of anxiety in his face. A nice measured performance this by Townsley, and I'm sure will be aware of the danger of leaving the right hand side of his head exposed. His head a little bit up, and that's how he may get caught. The cut at the corner of the right eye of Davey has opened up ever so slightly. It's not oozing, but red there. Another good performance in the second half of the round by Townsley, who's got himself caught on the ropes and needs to get out of it. And the more experienced man getting through, there's a little uppercut there, and Townsley not really tucking his chin in. But he's taken a couple of good shots, and that's a very good sign for the future. If he can take hard shots at this stage, it augurs well. Well, that's a face has taken a punch or two in its time, and it's taken a punch or two tonight. And again, they're working in that right eye. And a bit of a gamble, I suppose, Gary Jacobs putting in someone like Hugh Davey with Joe Townsley, but if it pays off, well, it pays off.
No, so you have to start somewhere. Hugh Davey, a very seasoned campaigner, middle of the road. You have to win these ones to further your career, but it's a good, solid performance from Townsley. He was gasping a wee bit for air during the round there, so we'll see how he comes out this round. As I say, it's his first professional fight, and he's coming through it nicely at the moment. He just doesn't have, he has to watch that he doesn't get caught here, because Davey's very seasoned. He's been 6 2-minute rounds before. This is his first fight.
Seconds in. Round 5.
Referee John Coyle just checking that the stool had gone out of the corner of the man in black, Hugh Davey, the 29-year-old from Gravesend. Good effort by him. Quite a bit of grease around the left eye of Joe Townsley, but it's not covering up a cut. I think it's just to enable the punches of Hugh Davey to slide off. There's that right hand of Davey coming over. That was the one that caught Townsley in the first. So Townsley now, his mouth is open. Maybe he's just feeling the pace of this, his first professional fight. Davey has been there before, and one thinks will try to pressurize the younger, more inexperienced man.
I think when your first professional fight, you're so excited about it, you're putting everything into every punch you're trying to knock the other guy out, so with every punch he's thrown, he's taking more and more out of himself. But he'll get over that. He has to get through this fight, get through it comfortably, and just stick behind his boxing. So I don't think he's going to stop this guy. He's never been stopped before.
Interesting too that Townsley has tried quite a lot of body shots, which is something which seems to have disappeared from the amateur game in recent years, mainly because of the computer scoring.
Yeah, it's all headshots. It's more exciting as they're all going for the knockout blow. They don't. I think with the amateur scoring, they don't score points for body shots. Is that right?
Well, it certainly hasn't looked like it in the last couple of major games, the Olympics and the Commonwealths. But Joe Townsley has found one or two good shots into the body, and that's better defence by him. He's keeping his hands up as Davey throws the punches. 20 seconds to go, and then 2 more minutes of boxing, and that cut at the corner of the right eye of Davey has worsened ever so slightly, and that's good work inside by Townsley. And he stung the hard man from Gravesend, Davey, into a little bit of action. Townsley hasn't had it all his own way this round. Well, he looks a little bit on the weary side and is very grateful that the stool is there to support his weight. But Joe Townsley, if he survives this last round, I think will record a first professional victory.
Yeah, I think he's done enough to go ahead and win his first fight. Very, very good. I've forgotten that as well, though. You were saying the body punching. Some great body punching there. Yeah, I think we're going to have a look at it just now. There you go. Right hand, up, down, both hands right and left to the body. It's like a forgotten art, and they really do take the steam right out of your opponent if you can keep landing the body shots.
Corners, 10 seconds. Seconds out. 6th and last round.
Joe Townsley in red and Hugh Davey in black touch gloves. It has been a very good contest, fought cleanly and sportingly. And Townsley trying to put on the pressure. Hugh Davey has never been stopped in 16 previous professional contests, and he's had a pretty decent record. He's won 10, lost 5 and drawn 1. That's good footwork from Townsley. Still a little bit amateurish in that he's rather upright when he comes under pressure and does leave his chin hanging out to dry a bit.
Yeah, he's been letting his hands drop there a wee bit. He's been getting caught in the ropes, but this is only his first fight. He's got to get on. Davey's a seasoned campaigner, 16 fights. He knows what it's like in there. He knows when to drive forward, especially when it's only 2-minute rounds.
A couple of good shots, lefts and rights going in from Davey, but Townsley fairly unruffled and certainly unmarked, whereas the face of Hugh Davey is very reddened and badly swollen, and little cuts on either eye. Townsley coming through with a right hand. He's varied the shots nicely, and that's a good slashing right. And Davey was, fortunately for him, very much on the back foot when he took it. Again, the occasional right hand from Hugh Davey getting in. Townsley's going to have to learn to hold on when he's under pressure, or else get out very quickly. He does get caught almost in no man's land occasionally.
I say either hold on or get out of the way and don't get it. He's been taking a few silly right hands, and there goes another left hook. Been getting caught with silly punches. I suppose he's very excited. It's his first fight. He's trying to go out there and impress and win it in style.
He got caught, Hugh Townsley. Joe Townsley, I should say, with a left and then a right. 15 seconds to go. And a good finish this by both boxers. Townsley's still leaving the chin out, and that's a little bit ominous, but he's caught Davey, and Davey really battling away for all he's worth. He's timed this last round pretty well, and there's not going to be a great deal in this, but I think Joe Townsley may well have done enough to take it, but no. He's given it to Hugh Davey. Well, I thought Townsley had maybe won that by a single round.
Well, it was very, very close. Hugh Davey was doing, as I said earlier on, he was going forward, creating the fight, forcing the fight. It's one of those fights, it was down to the last round. He had a good, strong last round, Davey, but me personally as well, I think Townsley might have just edged it. Listen, we're not in there, the referee makes the decisions, and you can't argue with that.
Well, the last round by Hugh Davey may well have given him this. Townsley did leave himself exposed. Davey caught him with a right hand to the midriff and then a left to the head, and it was good pressure by the more experienced man right at the end, and that may have just given it to him. Well, he'll be very disappointed. He got cut right at the end there. There's a little cut underneath. It's more grazed than a cut underneath his
Thank
left
you.
eye, and that's rather nasty.
The referee scores the contest. Davey, 59 points. Townsley, 58 points. Davey, red corner, the winner.
Well, the referee has given it to Hugh Davey by 2 rounds, which I've got to say I find surprising. But it's going to be a learning experience for Joe Townsley.